We're going to take a quick look at prompt, which is not a really great way to get input from a user in JavaScript, but for testing purposes or if you're just learning to code, it's pretty useful. So I've got this function. I just called this function test. Every time I click this button, it's going to call test. So let's write some code in here. Now, if we want to get some input from the user, we use the JavaScript prompt command. And in the prompt command, you can put in some text that you want to say to the user. So I might say, "What is your name?" or something along those lines. And if I save my code, so now it's got the code in there, and I click, it says, "What is your name?" Great. And so I'll type in my name and hit enter. But then that's it. Nothing happened. Where did it go? How do I get that name? Well, the prompt function or method or command returns something that the user typed in. So we're going to save that. Let's save that in a variable. So I might say let, and then I got to give my variable a name. My variable name is going to be answer, but you can put whatever you want there for your variable. Make it meaningful so that you know what you're storing. I'm now going to store the person's answer into the answer variable. But it's still not really helpful because then the function ends and nothing happens. So why don't we print that out to the console? Now don't forget that printing to the console is just so that you can see something. So I'm going to print that answer variable. So I click, "What is your name?" My name is Matt. And then on my console, I see Matt. So that's fantastic. So what comes in when the user types something into that prompt function or that prompt command? What if I wanted a number? Like what if I said, "What is your age?" And what I want is an actual number instead of some words or something like that. So if they say, "What is your age?" and I put in 23, I wish, and I hit enter, I get 23. Great. So it's still working whether they type in Matt or whether they type in 23. But in reality, it's not giving me the number 23. It's giving me the sentence of character 2 and character 3. And I'm going to prove that right now. I'm going to ask JavaScript, what type of variable is the answer when it comes back from the user? So again, this function is prompting the user for their age. The prompt command is returning the value that they type in and putting it in a variable called answer. And I'm just going to print to the console the type of variable that answer is. I'm going to hit click. What is your age? My age is 56, which it's not. And it says string. So it's outputting a string. So that means that the 56 that I typed in is actually not a numeric value, not something I can do math on particularly easily. Will JavaScript convert strings to numbers for me? Yeah, it actually will, but it can get kind of messy. Like if I wanted the square root. So if I say, "What is the square root of the person's answer?" And let me just save this, hit run. I'll put in a number that's pretty easy to square root, like 64. The answer to the square root of 64 is 8. I'll say okay, and it gave me 8, which is fantastic. It actually did the square root of that text-based answer. But because the user can type in whatever they want, they might have accidentally typed in something like 64 and then a space and then a comma or something like that. So we have to be a little bit careful when the users are typing in something into that prompt function. And I don't know if you can tell, but in the console here, my first 3 outputs are black text, and my last output here with the 8 is actually blue. That's the console's way of showing me that these 3 were strings. This one was the numeric value 8, and that's because math.squareroot returns a number. All right, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about returning specifically a number now. So if I want to make sure that the person returns a number when I ask them what their age is, like they don't type in 5, F-I-V-E, there's ways for me to look into that. So I can say I would like my answer to actually be a numeric value, so be a number, and I'm just going to convert my own variable into a number and store it back into itself. So you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to say numeric answer. I'm actually going to declare a new variable so that I'm not destroying the original one. And I'll have two variables here. I will have a string answer, and I will have, a numeric answer. And, you know, me naming them string answer or naming them numeric answer doesn't change what they are. I'm just naming them that so that they're easy to understand. So at this point, I'll have two variables. I'll prompt the user for their age. That comes in and gets stored in the string answer variable. It will be a string. Then I'm going to try and convert what the user typed in to the string answer variable into a number, into a numeric value. And so let's do a console.log on my string answer, and then a console.log on my numeric answer. And then right after I do those console.logs, I'm going to do a console.log type of string answer and a type of numeric answer, just so that we can see what exactly is going on here. So I'll click 64 or whatever, say OK. All right, so let's check this out. My console.log for string answer gave me 64. It's black. My console.log for numeric answer gave me 64. It's blue. My console.log for type of string answer says string, and type of numeric answer says number. And so we can say that, you know, 64 the string and 64 the number. Now, where does this, you know, get a little bit hairy? Well, it gets a little bit hairy when you try to do something with what the user typed in. So let me take this answer here that the user is typing in, and let's do some math with it. So I'm going to say console.log. I'm going to add, let's do answer plus 5. Let's just add 5 to it and see what comes out on the console. So I'll click, what is your age? My age is 23. I'm going to add 5 to 23 and print it out to the console. Well, look what I got. I got 235. It didn't actually add the numeric value of 5 to the numeric value of the number I typed in, which was 23. And that's because 23 is not a number. It's a string. And so what we're doing here is we're concatenating the 5 onto the end of the string 23. Now let's see if it does it any differently if I stick the 5 at the beginning. 5 plus my answer. Let me hit run. I'll type in 23 again, and I got 523. And so we can see here it is very specifically concatenating the two values. However, if I convert the answer that the user types in into a number, and I store that number into a variable, I can store it into a new one if I want to, or I can just store it in the variable it was before, because maybe I don't need it as a string. So I'm prompting the user. They're going to type in a number, I hope. I'm going to try and convert it to a number and store it back in the same variable. And then I'm going to console.log 5 plus the answer. So let's give that a shot. So I'll type in 23, and I got 28, the numeric value 28. 5 plus 23 is 28. Awesome. Okay, what happens if they don't type in a number and it tries to convert it? Well, this is more for a different video, but here's what happens. Let's say I type in 5, the word 5, and I click OK. I get NaN. NaN means not a number. It tried to convert the word 5 into a numeric answer. It couldn't. And so my variable becomes NaN, not a number. And then I try to add 5 to not a number, and it just complains that, you know, you can't do that. And when I console.log that value out, it says it's not a number. So everything got all messed up. What you would need is a way to check and see if it's a number, and we can go over that another time. So I hope that helped. That's how you use the prompt function.